everyone, welcome to a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are doing a massive marathon deep cleaning in my kitchen. Deep cleaning my kitchen like this is usually something I do once per year, and I have a few different videos on my channel from years past, but for some reason last year I decided to skip this. I guess I just didn't think my kitchen was dirty enough to warrant it, but skipping that last year definitely showed this year, so I knew I was going to really want to thoroughly deep clean this year. So I essentially spent about a week's worth of time going through my kitchen, a few hours at a time, section by section, cleaning out the cabinets, deep cleaning and wiping everything down. So I am going to share this marathon week-long process with you guys in this video. I decided to tackle this a little bit differently than I normally would. So I divided my kitchen up into sections and basically gave myself smaller chunks of time over a longer period of days to work on this, hoping that it would be less overwhelming. So on day one, I decided to start with a section of cabinets and drawers that I knew weren't going to be very dirty. So the first one here I'm doing is my dish cabinet. So obviously just emptying that out first. To clean my cabinets and all the surfaces, you're gonna see me follow the same sort of process. So I like to use my little mini handy vac to start with to get up as many crumbs and dust bunnies as possible. And then I like to go in with a microfiber cloth to remove any food or sticky substances, and then finally I like to use a paper towel and some disinfectant to get everything that the microfiber cloth leaves behind, because that's my biggest gripe with microfiber cloths. I know that sounds super extra, and I guess it is, but that is just the process that I found that works best for me to make sure I'm thoroughly cleaning everything. So this is the main process you're gonna see me do throughout my entire kitchen. Next cabinet I am tackling is my liquor cabinet. I actually on a whim decided to completely empty this out and move all the liquor over to my china cabinet. I just felt like that was a better use of space over there. I didn't go crazy trying to style and decorate everything really nicely, but I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what it would look like, and I'll come back and revisit this. And then I am going back to the cabinet and, like I said, following the same process of vacuuming, wiping with the microfiber cloth, and then using paper towel and disinfectant spray. And that disinfectant spray is just like a DIY mixture of isopropyl alcohol, water, and a couple of drops of Castile soap. I find that that polishes up my surfaces really well. So what was previously the liquor cabinet is now all emptied out, and I don't really have anything in there, so it's nice to have that extra space when I find a use for it. And above that is just some different barware and glasses in this little corner cabinet. And also this entire marathon here is going to be a mix of me kind of talking through my processes and sharing information with you guys, but I'm also going to just kind of let things go and play the music, so I'm not going to talk through the entire video. Now I am starting to go through this little stack of drawers. Most of these are used for more utility items, so this one has a bunch of different odds and ends in it. Batteries, command hooks, extra keys, all that stuff. And this drawer actually has these like little built-in organizers, which is really nice. And the large bottom drawer I use for all my kitchen towels. I try to keep my collection pared down, so here I am doing a little bit of decluttering. I think I only ended up getting rid of 1 or 2. After they start to get all scuzzy looking, I'll usually end up using them as like rags. And that wraps up my first day of cleaning. I think I spent about 2 hours finishing that. And so now we are moving on to day 2. And I started with my coffee cabinet, coffee bar area. I had cleaned and reorganized this space maybe like 6 months ago, so it wasn't too bad. I still had all of my Christmas mugs out, so it was time to put those away and bring back out my regular mugs. I like these little wire shelf riser things, especially for this cupboard because it creates extra space for all my mugs, which I also love to collect. I just think it's a really good use of space, and way up at the top is where I will keep my Christmas mugs and seasonal mugs. And then on the lower shelf, right at eye level, are all my everyday mugs.
Small town, big crowd, and there you were in front of me.
I bought this acrylic tea bag organizer probably more than 5 years ago at this point. I've had it for so long now and I still love it so much. It's such a great way for organizing all your teas and keeping track of what you have. And then I have another little container where I put overflow teas.
Take my hand and follow me. Baby, we're leaving midnight. It's time for a change. Let's get out of here. We'll never look back. This is our time. We're leaving at midnight.
Moving over to the next cupboard are all our drinking glasses and my assorted collection of tumbler cups. Just like everything else in my kitchen, I try to keep my collection pared down, so as soon as something starts overflowing in the cabinet and there isn't enough space, that's when I usually know it's time to stop and reassess what I have going on. But I would say right now my collection's pretty well pared down. I think on the second day I started keeping a list as I was cleaning of things that needed to be replaced or repurchased or anything organization-wise that I wanted to look up on Amazon.
No sin. The sky has no limit. Yeah, we're free. This town's too small for dreams like this. Don't wanna settle down. Don't wanna miss out on adventures, things we haven't seen. Take my hand and follow me. Baby, we're leaving midnight. It's time for a change. Let's get out of here. We'll never look back. This is our time. We're leaving at midnight. Leaving at midnight.
Next, I am doing the drawer under the cup cupboard. So this is where I keep all my straws and the lids to my tumbler cups. Most all of the drawer organizers you're gonna see me use in this video came from the Dollar Tree, and I've had them for years since I lived in this house.
This is our time. We're leaving at midnight. Leaving at midnight.
Next, we were moving on to my garbage drawer, which I knew was going to be one of the dirtiest to clean. So as you can see back there, there was lots of crumbs and debris. So of course I used my vacuum first, and then I just went to town with my microfiber cloth, really scrubbing since there was a lot of like splashed liquids and food. Surprisingly, the garbage can itself wasn't that bad, but I made sure to give that a good clean as well and use my disinfectant spray. I had intended for this to be the final part of day 2, but I had a little bit of extra time, so I decided to move across the kitchen and do this drawer and cupboard right here. All right, and now we are on to day 3 of deep cleaning. So above the stove, we're kicking off with the spice cupboard. I have quite a few of these little bamboo rotating Lazy Susans, and I have had these since I lived in my old house. I think they're probably some of my oldest kitchen organization items, and I love them. They just work perfectly for spices if you store them in a cupboard. After I pulled everything out, I did some decluttering. I combined multiple jars of spices of the same thing into one. I got rid of anything that was old and expired. The other cupboard is really skinny, so I like to use these really narrow acrylic organizers. I think they work really well in that space. I also needed to refill my salt and pepper shakers. On the bottom shelf, I like to keep everything I reach for the most on a daily basis, so salt and pepper, olive oil. Moving along, this large wide drawer was just holding a bunch of different odds and ends and random kitchen gadgets that didn't really have a home. I didn't end up moving too many things around during this deep clean because I think the way I had most things set up was already working for me, but I did switch a few things around in these drawers. One of the dirtiest drawers for sure was my utensil drawer. You can see here in my little utensil caddy, there was a lot of crumbs and food and almost looks like dirt. So like I said, I ended up switching the things that I put in this top wide drawer here. I decided to move like my larger cooking utensils over here. Something I decided to do, I think maybe like 2 years ago now, was upgrade all of my food storage containers to glass ones, and that is something I absolutely think is worth doing. They just hold up super well in the dishwasher and don't get all cloudy and gross looking. And then above that are 2 cabinets that we use as a pantry. So I had made a video about reorganizing these maybe about 6 months ago, so they weren't too bad, but these cupboards definitely are the ones that end up getting the most cluttered and overstuffed and just like disheveled looking. I got a bunch of these like rose gold wire baskets the first year I moved into this house. I have these used in so many places around my house, but I find they work really nice as like a pantry organization solution. I usually like to group things based on like food type, so like sweet snacks, salty snacks, salad stuff, you know, granola bars, that sort of thing. I just try to keep like foods together, I guess. And then the things I don't reach for as much go up on the very top shelf. And over in the cabinet on the left, I have it set up so I can fit all of the like taller containers in here. And moving on, it is the next day, so that puts us at day 4, I think. And we are starting with the Lazy Susan. Apparently I missed recording me emptying it. And one of the dirtiest things that we keep in this Lazy Susan is this large jug of canola oil, so I decided to just put an extra tray down there that I had on hand, line it with some paper towels just to try to keep all the oils on that. Otherwise, just like in the pantry cabinets, I try to keep like things together. So basically I just store, you know, canned goods and all like non-perishables down here. Continuing on with the theme of food, we are going to my refrigerator. I also cleaned this area about 6 months ago, so it still wasn't too bad, but it's definitely one of the areas that gets the grossest since, you know, food. So the first thing I did was just go through the fridge and pull out anything that was expired, old, needed to be tossed. And then it was time for a little lunch break of breakfast tacos. We're done with lunch. It was time to continue with the fridge, so I am emptying it out completely and following my same cleaning process, starting with my vacuum and then putting products back in and reorganizing them. And I just try to be really thorough, getting in as many of the nooks and crannies as I can. I did not end up doing my freezer at the same time. I did that a few days later and I did not film it, but Sam and I went through it together. It actually wasn't too bad.
Yes, I am waving no white flag.
And moving on, it is the same day still, but just later in the evening. I had received some of my new organizational items I had ordered from Amazon a couple days ago, so I was excited to try them out. And the first one I got for under the sink, so I emptied out that area and gave it a good cleaning. And what I got was this two-tiered pull-out drawer organizer. It shows it being used in both kitchen and bathroom under the sink areas.
Definitely have to put something heavy on the top.
It actually did not fit some of my taller cleaning bottles, which I was bummed. And if you want to put anything that's a little bit heavier, this is a little flimsy. I decided to keep it because it does work, but I think it would probably work better in a bathroom because your products in there are going to be lighter and smaller. The sliding mechanism for the pull-out drawers was very like wobbly and sticky, and overall the unit just felt a little flimsy. Another item that I picked up on Amazon is this knife organizer for your drawers. We had a knife block on the countertop, and I just wanted to get those off the countertop and use some of the extra drawer space I had. This ended up working really well. It fit seriously perfectly in the open spot I had for my utensil drawer. So far I am very happy with this thing. And then, like I briefly mentioned before, here are the Tumbler cup water bottle organizers. I ordered a set of 4 of them. They're like this clear acrylic material and they are stackable. I had already started playing with this before I was filming. I really wasn't sure how I was gonna like this, but I emptied everything out to try to make a setup that would work well for me. And what I found is they don't stack very well. They kept like falling out of their little grooves. And unfortunately, the biggest problem for me is they did not fit my largest size tumblers, which are like if you have the big Starbucks tumbler cups, like those do not fit in here. Ultimately, I decided this is not gonna work for me and that it is not a better use of space than I previously had set up in here. So I did decide to return these. And I put this off closer to the end because I was absolutely dreading it, and that was to clean my oven. So I watched a few how to clean your oven videos on YouTube, and most people seem to use this baking soda, dish soap, water method. So that is exactly what I decided to do. So I have some baking soda. I used a couple of drops of Castile soap and then just added water to create a paste. And before I even started spreading that, I took a plastic paint scraper and tried to scrape up as many of the like caked on burnt food as I could.
Dude, this sucks.
Some people let this sit for like 24 hours and then some people let it sit for like 5 minutes. I decided to leave it alone for about an hour. So here we are about an hour later and I have this bristled dish brush that I am going in with to really put some elbow grease in there. And real quickly, I found how uncomfortable, time-consuming, and frustrating this is. Felt like the baking soda paste took forever to completely clean out of the oven. It didn't even get everything clean. The glass on the door had no change at all. The grease splatters would not budge.
There's no way this is gonna get clean.
Inside was significantly better than it was. It still was not as fully cleaned as I would have liked it to have been. So then, to make sure I got everything as clean as possible, I ended up getting a bucket of hot water and just using my rag to scoop up and wipe off as much of the baking soda as possible. Cleaning this was just such a pain. And since I didn't see any results whatsoever on the glass door, I decided to come in with my barkeeper's friend. I think I let it sit for about 5 minutes. You're not usually supposed to let that stuff sit for too long because it will erode some things. And unfortunately, this did not make a difference either. Absolutely nothing came off. I tried to use my plastic paint scraper to see if anything would move. And then in all of the oven cleaning tutorials I watched on YouTube before, they finished the cleaning process with spraying white vinegar all over everything and wiping it down. So that is what I am doing here. I have a mixture of vinegar and water. I absolutely hate the smell of vinegar. I don't know why I'm so sensitive to it, but I am. I was like retching while I was cleaning this. And of course, this process left a huge mess underneath my stove. So then it was time to clean behind the oven, which I normally do when I deep clean my kitchen. So I just pulled that out and I get back there and make sure I get all the crumbs and food debris and wipe the sides of the cabinets, which always have spills down them. And then I am going to clean the stove top itself. I am using a different cleaning substance here called the pink stuff. This is my first time trying it out. It seemed to work pretty well on my glass stovetop. And then I decided to put it to the real test and use it to clean out my air fryer here. But just like with the oven, I took this scrub brush and applied the pink stuff all inside. I tried to avoid the heating coils as much as possible. I let that sit for maybe 5-10 minutes and worked on just wiping down the faces of my cabinets. And my hope was that I would see a bit of a difference in the way this was gonna clean versus how my oven went, so I would know that this might be something I could try on the oven. But I did not see a big enough difference. It, just like my oven, there was still quite a bit of discoloration and debris left over, so I can't say that I feel like it works any better or worse than the other two. Just like my oven, I got flustered trying to make sure I got all of the product out of there using a wet rag. Cleaning my oven made such a huge mess around my sink area, so I am going to put my little napkin curtains in the wash. And now I'm going to work on just cleaning and disinfecting the different surfaces. And I did end up using some of that pink stuff on some really, really tough stuck-on food on the countertop. And that seemed to work pretty well. I was so frustrated and annoyed with the oven situation that Sam and I actually talked about it and we decided to buy a new oven. Now, hear me out. This sounds ridiculous. We had been talking about upgrading our stove oven combo for quite a few years now. We've been slowly upgrading some of the appliances in this house since we moved in, so it wasn't just like an on a whim purchase because I was pissed off with cleaning it. We did some research, ordered our unit, and it was literally put in the very next day, which is pretty awesome. And then we are moving on to cleaning my microwave. Normally I will use white vinegar to clean this microwave, but I was so like grossed out by it from cleaning the oven the day before that I was like, I cannot use white vinegar. Like, I knew it was gonna make me gag and want to vomit. So I decided to just use a little bit of Castile soap and water. Here you can see how messy my sink got from when I was cleaning the oven. There was just splatters of gross grease and residue everywhere. So I waited close to the end of my deep cleaning process to clean the sink. So I am starting with my microfiber cloth and just scrubbing everything down, the windowsill, the countertop, my faucet. And then one of my favorite kitchen products are these Plink garbage disposal cleaners. I've been using these for years. They're just these little balls and they smell like lemony citrus. You pop it in your garbage disposal, turn on the water, and turn on the disposal unit. Next, we are moving over to clean the fridge exterior. So I am wiping down the top of the fridge unit, which was very, very dusty. I probably should have cleaned inside of those cupboards, but by this point, I was like so over this project. I just wanted to be done with it. I was trying so hard not to cut corners the last few days. And then I am going in and cleaning all of the stainless steel appliance exteriors. Just like with the shelves, I like to go in with a microfiber cloth first to get off food and liquid and any sort of gunk, because the stainless steel wipes do not work very well at that. They work great for fingerprints and smudges, and they just leave your stainless steel looking shiny and fingerprint free. Moving over to the dishwasher, something that a lot of people I think don't remember to do is to empty out the food catch mesh in your dishwasher. So I try to do this every few months. I even had some standing water down there. It means it definitely needed to be cleaned out. wanted to make sure I cleaned behind my refrigerator. And lo and behold, when we pulled the unit out, we found Abaddon's treasure trove of hair ties and toys. And the last thing I always do with any sort of cleaning project is the floors, just because when you're cleaning surfaces, crumbs and food and all sorts of things end up on the floor anyway. So it just makes sense to clean the floors last. My process is to vacuum first with my big vacuum, and then I will go back in with my smaller handy vac and just run around the perimeter of underneath the cabinets and underneath the appliances, since my bigger vacuum tends to miss a lot of the little crumbs under there. This back corner here by the stove is usually the worst. There's always a collection of some snacks back there. And after I vacuum my floors, normally I had all intentions of using my steam mop, but my steam cleaning mop actually took a dump and stopped working. So that was pretty annoying. I really wanted to finish the job, but also at the same time, since I was so over it, I was kind of just like, whatever. It was one less thing I had to do at that point. All right, you guys, we are to the end. That was so much cleaning. So here's just like a little overview of my cleaned kitchen and some of the spaces. And for my final thoughts, I would say I would probably prefer my normal deep cleaning timeline, which is where I like carve out a weekend or 2 days and knock it out all at once, rather than doing what I did this time and working on it just a little bit at a time. I definitely felt like this project was dragging out and I just wanted it to be over. And all of the cleaning and time I spent on my old white oven was not for nothing. It was still very much functional and in good condition outside of the little bit of cosmetic stuff I couldn't clean. I was able to sell it on Facebook Marketplace within just a few hours for a few $100. My kitchen area is a complete clean slate. I normally have more decor out on my island and over by my coffee station. I just like wrapped up putting all my Christmas stuff away, and over the next few days I'm gonna start working on doing a little bit of Valentine's Day decorating. So that's why I just wanted to leave everything clean for now. While my kitchen is clear and clean and decluttered, over on my dining table is full of crap. If you are still watching this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope I was able to motivate you to clean your own space, inspire you, and give you ideas for organization. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button down below. I post videos about organization, cleaning, and different DIY around the house projects. One of my New Year's goals is actually to be better about responding to you guys in the comments. I know I'm not the best at that. And it's the same in real life too. Like when people text me, I'm so bad at texting back. Like I'll read something when I get it and like respond to it in my head and not actually do it and then forget about it. So if you are someone who does leave comments every now and then, just know that I do read them and I do appreciate them. Let me know down below in the comments if any of you guys are doing deep cleaning. What's the first space that you have cleaned or plan to clean? Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And if you enjoyed it, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And I will see you guys soon in my next video. Bye!